It feels great. Spent a lot of my career here. A lot of great memories. A lot of great teammates and fans have been really great to me ever since I was drafted. And a lot of the training staff, people, organization here that I'm getting excited to have a little bit more time to catch up with those guys. So and to play my first All-Star game here is pretty special.
Hey, TJ, you said that it doesn't happen without the changes that have been made to the arena, the renovations.
Yep.
Could you just describe how different it is from when you left here and what you've seen change over the years coming back?
Yeah, it looks completely different. Obviously, I'm not out walking around upstairs, but as far as the locker room, I think you always appreciate the team taking care of the guys and getting them the stuff they need in the locker rooms, and they've obviously done a great job here of that. And the fans obviously enjoy the experience a little bit more when you make some upgrades. So they've done a great job. Obviously, had a great year last year, and the Blues fan base I don't think's ever been bigger.
TJ, I know you don't play here that often, but anything about these current Blues maybe that sets them apart, that makes it how it's constructed or anything like that?
Yeah.
How they play?
It seems like they keep working. They do a really good job of extending ozone time. There's some good stats of them doing that last year, and especially in the playoffs. And a lot of the guys here that are in that core group still were players that I played with, and I know what type of guys those guys are, what type of players they are, and there's no fight in those guys. So they're obviously leading the charge with some other pieces coming in and making the difference. So they're a tough team to play against, tough team to beat, and you can see why with their record this year and their cup last year.
TJ, what was it like watching a lot of your buddies and seeing the whole fan reaction to the Blues finally winning the cup last year?
Well, I didn't watch too many of the games. I don't tend to watch a lot of hockey, especially if we lose out. But it was really cool for the fans, and I talked to those guys, ironically, on the way to the golf course, and they were still up partying from the night they won. So it was a nice FaceTime with Barrett Jackman. He was still with a bunch of the guys and in the van with Petro in the cup. So it was pretty cool to get to call them and not really share that moment with them, but just talk to them and tell them congratulations and really happy for them and a lot of the players that came before them that kind of set the groundwork and helped build the fan base here in St. Louis.
TJ, you mentioned it a little bit, but not only your first All-Star game, but also it's here in St. Louis where you spent much of your career. How much more special does that make this event for you?
Yeah, well, I don't think there's another place that would be more fitting for me to go to my first All-Star game. Obviously in DC is kind of where my career really started to take off, and I've had more success there and as a team as well. But to come back here, where I really started growing my family and had a lot of special memories in the place I was drafted to. It's a pretty cool story to be able to tell my kids when we're older and grandkids after that.
2 decades ago, when Wayne Gretzky retired, everybody says that his record couldn't be broken. And then 20 years later, there's a guy, your teammate, who's coming close. So what does it say about Ovechkin?
Well, yeah, I mean, for anyone to break one of Gretzky's records is, I think that shows how special of a player they are. But to be able to see Ovi up close and just see how special of a player he is, how special of a goal scorer he is, it's truly amazing. I mean, he just keeps scoring. He doesn't seem to show any signs of slowing down. Since I've been on the team, I think around almost 5 years now, Ovi hasn't changed. He hasn't lost a step. He hasn't gotten slower. His shot hasn't gotten softer. He hasn't had any less drive. If anything, more drive. So it's going to be fun to watch his career and see how many people he can climb on that all-time goals ladder.
TJ,
I think he has a good chance to. I mean, you look at the pace he's at now. I think it's going to come down to what he wants to do, how long he wants to play. But if he keeps working and stays how he stays at the pace he's at, I think that you can look at the numbers. I think he can do it.
TJ, the guy to your right here, of course, John, is also having a really magical season. What's it been like kind of seeing it firsthand? And are the numbers so good? Did they surprise you at this point, or is it kind of just, no, this is John?
No, it doesn't surprise me at all. Ever since I got to the Caps, you could kind of tell that he wasn't fully matured yet, and his game wasn't to the level that it was going to get to yet. Over the last 4.5 years now, he seems to just keep growing, keep getting better, keep getting smarter, more experienced. He plays a lot of minutes. I mean, everyone talks about the points he has, which are pretty amazing and pretty special. But his play all around, playing PK, playing big minutes defensively, playing against other teams' top units and top lines, he's in my eyes, I think he's the best defenseman in the league.
You were an All-Star once before, weren't you, with the Seattle Juniors?
Actually, I never made any of the All-Star teams when I was younger out in Seattle. I was able to make a couple in Minnesota, which was nice, but this one's a little bigger.
What do you think about the fact that Seattle, where you spent a lot of your formative years, is finally getting a team?
I think it's awesome. I met with a lot of that group in those years building up to whether or not they're going to get a team, and I think it's great for the city. I think it's great for the sports fans there. I think if you follow along, you look at the Seahawks fans, it can get pretty wild there. So I'm excited for them to get a team and go in there and play a game and see how crazy it gets.
You had to drive a lot of miles just to get rink time in Seattle because there wasn't any ice, right?
No, yeah. I had to drive quite a ways when I was younger, and my last year, I lived up in Stanwood, and it was probably a good hour and a half to and from the rink, and practice were usually at 10 p.m. So I didn't get a lot of sleep, probably why I didn't grow to be the size my dad is. But yeah, a lot of time out there. Tough to get to the rinks, and hopefully, the new team in Seattle will grow the youth game there. There was a lot of kids that kind of showed promise, but it was pretty hard to get to and from the rinks. Also pretty expensive out there, so excited for the team to get there for that.
TJ, going back more than 10 years with the kid line days, what are your memories of David LeBron? And then now, how do you feel he's playing some of the best hockey of his career, and the fact that you guys are both now here at the All-Star game together?
Yeah, I actually saw Perry, and he was coming out of an interview I was going in about an hour ago, and it was pretty cool. We haven't had a lot of time to catch up and say hi, but going back to the kid line days, those were pretty special and pretty cool, especially with a coach that liked veteran guys and that would kind of come up to us in practice and let us know that he's looking for us to make mistakes so he can stop the drill. And so we had to stick together through those days, and it was fun. I think having success together and growing together, and I think it was pretty exciting for the fans too to have a line in the kid line, for them to be excited about the future. And he's playing unbelievable right now. He's always had great hands, great vision. And it seems like he's getting a little bit of grit to his game, and kind of rounding him out as a complete player.
Oshie, question right down here.
There we go.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm Layla Anderson. Tonight I'm with Upper Deck. I'd like to know, what is your favorite city to play in besides your own?
Ooh, my favorite city to play in. Can I pick 3? Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay. So St. Louis is always fun to get back. I got a lot of good friends here. Minnesota is where a lot of my family is, and then the rest of my family is out in Seattle. So when I play in Vancouver, my family gets to come up and drive and see the game. So those are my 3 favorite places to play, just because I get to see my family and friends, people that when you play in the NHL with a long season, you don't get to see too often.
All right, I've got one more. What is the last thing you have watched on Netflix?
The last thing I've watched on Netflix is Criminal Minds. Actually, me and my wife were watching it in the hotel room before we came over. So I've been into the crime shows lately, and that one I think is one of the best.
I'd also like to say I'm very excited to see you play in St. Louis. Welcome back.
Thank you very much. Wow. Great interview. Yeah, you're welcome.
TJ,
playing back with Team Truck at the beginning of your career. Do you have any memories of Brady and Matthew as well, kids?
Yeah, so it's kind of crazy because I remember Walt talking about playing against kids and had playing against their dads when he was younger. And Matthew and Brady were, just little guys running around the locker room playing ball hockey with all the other little kids. And so to see them both here in an All-Star game, one's pretty special for Chantel and Walt, and also pretty cool for their family, for them to both be in an All-Star game together and be back here. And for me to play against them, not only in the NHL but in an All-Star game, makes me feel pretty old. But it's pretty cool to see the success that they've had from coming into the locker room and playing ball hockey after games to make it into an All-Star game. So it says a lot about their parents and their family, and really happy for those guys.
Did you ever surprised at how much you're still adored here? I mean, if you go to a game, you still see a lot of Oshie 74 jerseys. I mean, it's been a while since you played here, but I mean, when you come back, are the people still coming up to you and talking about stories and watching you play and all that?
Yeah, it's pretty surreal, and I think it's a pretty special feeling. To come back to a place where I haven't played in a while. I've won a cup in another city. They've won a cup with a different team. Plenty of chances to get new jerseys, and there's still a lot of 74 Oshie jerseys out there. So I think it goes to show you the loyalty of the fans here. I put in a lot of work to try to win a cup here, and I feel like they respected that. They respected my work ethic, and I respect their support through thick and thin. I got in a little trouble here when I was younger, and no one turned their back on me. They've always been so great to me, and I think that's why it makes it so special to be back here in St. Louis and play my first All-Star game here.